Primo Beats.
Bam, 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 bam.
Oh yeah, King Bala. This is our love story. This is our story.
Adenin katalitonu, aruda wanjazido. Nkotasi wamvonyan bamu, aruda wanjazido. Adenin katalitonu.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here this afternoon. My name is Abdubaki Bukari. I'm the host and producer of Asa Africa TV. Today, we are pleased to welcome Ms. Catherine Warren, aka KD Rose, who is a host and a producer of a talk show called The Next Chapter, where she discusses shades of grade with her guests. During our talk show today, Ms. Catherine will be sharing with us her background, her professional experience, and also the TV award she received at the Level Up BronxNet Access Producers event at Lehman College Studio. In addition, we will talk about a 2023 Dance Africa event held in Brooklyn a few weeks ago and other upcoming cultural events that will be held in New York. Finally, we will conclude with her workshop on how to use social media effectively as a business owner and or an artist. To start up, Ms. Catherine Warren, can you please introduce yourself to our viewer and tell me a little more about yourself?
Well, thank you. I'm glad that awesome. Thank you for inviting me back.
Okay.
I am professionally government known Catherine Warren, professionally known Rose. As you mentioned, I'm an access producer here at Bronx, but more than that, I'm actually a community producer here in New York, and I've been doing it since 2016.
Okay, that's good. That's very good. What inspired you to create a TV show? Since we already know that a lot of people already have their show on the community channel, so I don't know why you decided to create a TV show.
Well, I'm a minister, and I'm a minister where I simply focus on messaging. I don't worry about what I convert anyone. I just share what I learned along the way. But when I first started broadcasting in 2016, when 2016 hit, I just needed to find direction. And when I first started in 2016, I was a field producer, so I was going to different people's locations to do these conversations. But when COVID hit and kind of shut that interaction, I needed to find a direction. And at the same time, I was becoming an empty nest. So when I decided to start traveling, really after my trip to Africa, I knew that I wanted to share through my ministry this next chapter I was going through. So when the studio opened back at Bronx, it just made sense. Okay, well, since we're not interacting and we're using Zoom and StreamYard, let me develop a talking about the chapter of my life and using that as a part of my ministry.
Okay, so that's why you decided to name your show The Next Chapter. If you can just explain to our viewer why you decided to give your show name The Next Chapter instead of the other names.
Well, I chose the Next Chapter because I think the best to always do things and represent yourself.
Okay.
The best representation. And at the moment, I'm going to my next chapter. And if you hear anything on television or radio, everyone is talking about their next chapter, their next chapter here, their next chapter there. So I think we're all going through evolving chapters in our lives we all can relate to. So it was a title that I think was relatable.
Okay. So for me, when we was going to school, when you talk about next chapter, that means you already conclude about the other chapter. So, and talking about that next chapter, last year you went to Senegal, and then I think we had a show here, and then we talk more about that trip, right? So
definitely.
today I have a short video, the summary of your trip. So I have a video. If you are ready, you can just throw
Okay.
that video, and then after the video, you will comment. Yeah, we are back now. So tell me about your experience.
Well, my experience was absolutely beautiful, which is reason why for the you just saw about what I wanted to put together in these healing, taking people to Africa or the land, back home, our roots, our ancestral burial, because I thought the connection of going through the next chapters of our lives, but also remembering and co-from where we come from, strengthen our identity, I believe, as Black. So that's what that did for me. It just ignited, it ignited the strength that I have as a Black woman. Sometimes I think going through these ups and downs, the queens, forget your. So that trip reminded of my strength, and then I wanted to take people back. So that's what focus now, what a trip would look like under the kick lifestyle, going back to Senegal, Africa, to get that connection to our spiritual strength of those from our original land.
Okay, that's good. So I watched a lot of video, and I knew that you visited a lot of places. So in 30 seconds, can you please tell me takeaways from that entire trip you had last year?
The pink lady, because I do not know how to swim, and I flew it
Yeah.
on the water. So I
Okay.
know the plane, what the particles in that water is that allows you to do that, but I forgot.
Okay, so we have 1 minute in order to go to the break. I think we're gonna go to the break now. When we come back, we have a lot to talk about the awards you receive at the BronzeNet Level Up events at Lehman College Studio. So without further ado, let's go to the break.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Okay, we are back, and I was telling you that we're gonna talk about the TV award you receive from BronzeNet Level Up. According to BronzeNet website, thousands of BronzeNet access producers level up on Thursday night. This event honors all the access producers who have contributed to creating amazing programming for BronzeNet television channels, even through pandemic. The producer enjoyed music by DJ Mary D, a 360 photo booth, received certificates, and were able to take a tour of the newly renovated Lehman College studios. Miss Catherine, can you tell me a little bit more about that event?
Well, I enjoyed being there because we got to touch, we got to be outside and be together. So that was amazing. To get the acknowledgement from BronzeNet.
Yeah, I can see your smile on that picture.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was a good day. I mean, the spirit in the room was such a beautiful, you couldn't help but smile. The food was good, the DJ was good, but I think more than anything, just all of us being together and meeting each other, the ones who hadn't met, you know, getting a chance to be like, hey, who are you? Welcome, was a nice feeling. Because I got to meet some new producers that I only got to watch during COVID, but didn't get to meet because they came after COVID. So that was a beautiful feeling. And then again, once to get recognized from Bronxman, like, I see you. I see the work you felt warm.
That's good. That's good. You know what? When I saw your picture with a large smile when you posted on Facebook, I remember something you was telling to one of your guests. You know that I'm one of your crew members, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You was telling one of your guests that it's something like you wanna give up, like you don't wanna do the show again. And a few days after I saw this, I said, aha, now, Miss Katrina. You see, so I was telling you to keep doing it. You help a lot of people who watch your show, and then you have a very good content. So, beside the award that you received, when we came back from the COVID, the pandemic, so we just had it's like a brand new studio. So I want you to tell me a little bit about your experience with all the equipment that you saw in our newly studio.
Well, I'm excited about the new studio that's opening in September. But the one back at Lehman, it's not new, just renovated. It felt good to be there. I actually was able to tape a couple of shows at the new studio since we were introduced to it. And so it was beautiful. It felt fancy. But I'm going to say, it's nothing like my team at Mercy.
Okay.
And I want to acknowledge my team, because during that same, like a week later, the next chapter won a free. Hold on, I'm sorry. Just turn down my volume.
No problem.
The next chapter won a Be Free award for freedom of speech, First Amendment. And I believe we did that because of the production quality of our crew. Like you on audio. Remember back in the day when I first came out, I had great content for horrible audio. And now I have a beautiful full team, director, assistant director, graphics, audio. And now not only did we get recognized at the Bronx Level Up, but we got recognized at Brick TV.
Yeah, that was a very, very good event.
Yeah.
So on August 26th, you will have an event called I'm You, and I can see your share. I'm You. So I want you to tell me a little bit about that event.
Well, I Am You is a one-woman comedic satire where I tell the world 7 stories of the last 25 years of my life, plus the 3 years of COVID. And I share this in a very raw, vulnerable way where the messaging may not be totally where you can identify each story, but you can identify with the feeling, which is why I call the show I Am You.
Okay, that's very good.
And that is produced this year from New Heritage Theater Group in Harlem, and it's going to be directed from Shades of Truth artistic director Michael Green.
Okay, that's very good. So I saw you, when I look at the events that you attended and all those kind of stuff you are doing it, so I'm asking myself, where did you get that time? Look like you are busy, you are everywhere.
That's That's a social media live.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a
That's
notification.
a fraud life on social media.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know what happened?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to be, not I tried, because we were just in five for 2 years, 3 years. I'm being very intentional right now in my life.
Okay.
In this next chapter, as an empty nester, I want to enjoy my work by being amongst cultural events
Mm-hmm.
and progressive events that make me or allow me to enjoy this time that I have currently on earth.
Okay, that's
You know,
very good.
so you want to work, but you also want to enjoy
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing and where you're at.
Okay, that's very good. So I will take that one as a transition since you was talking about social media. Recently, you started a workshop on how to use social media effectively as a business owner or an artist. So what inspired you to create that workshop?
What inspired me was I was at a town hall meeting a couple of months ago, and there was no type of social media announcement or present about this town hall meeting. And it was a very important town hall meeting where I don't know if the people realize that when you have a voice in your community, it's going to the board meeting in your community. So being involved politically doesn't always mean the actual vote. So, like for myself, I don't vote.
Yeah.
So, in order for me to be a community activist and show work and involvement, I attend certain community board meetings. So, when I was at the meeting and I saw that there was no hashtag, there was no announcements of who was presenting, what was being presented, and this wasn't a new organization. I was perplexed. It boggled my mind and it upset me because I felt like social media is a free marketing tool
Yeah.
and it's not the be all to end all, but it is the current market trend that we are using in as a business. So if people weren't using it, I said, you know what? 10 years ago, I was doing this with constant content. I was teaching email marketing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, remember how a few weeks ago we were talking about creating different revenue streams?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, let me put myself out there to teach people how to use social media because maybe there's a hesitance, there's a disconnect of them not understanding the importance of using a free marketing tool to expose their business, the people that's on their platform, what it is they're doing, especially as a community program involving and informing the community.
Okay.
If you don't inform the community, you're just a part of the everybody else in the matrix
Yeah.
that's trying to keep good stuff away from people.
Yeah. Oh, no, I like the work you are doing because when I was at the Hostels Community College, I did like 200 hours for community work without pay, and then I know what I learned from there. I was able to meet a lot of government officials. We clean up some parks, and then even soup kitchen. We were providing food for homeless, and it's something that I don't know how to say it. There is no price on that when you're giving back to your community. So that's very
Exactly.
good. Yeah.
And I think what happens is that when people give back, there's so much negativity that sometimes comes with what people think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So to me, using social media kind of come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of, and then you get opportunity from putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Being on social media has allowed me to travel, has allowed me to, you know, cover events in
Yeah.
New York. You know, it's brought so much opportunities to me.
Yeah.
It's for more positive. than negative.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that if you don't know how to use it, it will be against you. So that's
Yes.
why I like the word effectively, that you use it,
Exactly.
how to use social media
And you
effectively.
see how that's bigger
Yeah.
than all the other words.
Yeah.
Effectively is in
Effectively,
capital letters.
yeah. Okay, so where do you want to see this workshop in 5 or 10 years from now?
Well, in 5 or 10 years, we may not even be using social media.
Yeah.
So that's the point.
No, I
The
totally
point
agree with
is,
you. Yeah.
no, but the point is how to use whatever's happening at the time, whatever market trend is happening, utilizing it. So the same technique will apply.
Yeah.
So where I see myself in 5, 10 years, I would like to be teaching future community access producers at all of the public access networks how to, once they get their certification, now to use social media or marketing to market their show that they're producing on public access. That is my goal.
Okay, so what's your opinion on why the African and American community focuses on organizing more cultural events than economic, educational, or political events?
Ooh, you asking me a personal opinion, Baki.
Yeah.
People might not like what I got to say.
Go for
I
it.
think it's easier. I think, unfortunately, that's why you got to sneak in the good messages in community cultural events.
Yeah.
Because I think people, unfortunately, are more concerned about having fun. When it comes to politics, when it comes to organizational community, like activism work, it requires work. And a lot of people are talkers.
Yeah.
They don't want to put in the work.
It's true.
So if you go, for example, right now, we just went up to Albany, but 2 weeks ago for the advocacy for public access, right?
Yes.
So BronxNet, as community producers, to have a voice and come up.
Yeah.
Now, if we don't come up and participate and have a voice, then we lose a service that we're actually benefiting from.
Yeah.
But if you don't see that being important because you don't want to take the time out of your day, or it's too early on the bus, or whatever the reason, and when the funding gets cut, then you don't have anything to say because you weren't involved in the process of fighting to keep your show on air. So that's an example of being involved when it comes to the political part of why I think the African American community or the African community don't involve themselves as much. Because when you see the other cultures, the Asian culture, the Latin culture, even the homosexual community, they're fighting with each other. They're protesting with each other. They're in the trenches together. What I see about us is a lot of parades and a lot of what is it?
Yeah, dancing clubs.
We'll march, but we march with no action. If that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense. But as for me, what I just want to add before we conclude the show is that I know a lot of people, even in my African communities here, they love cultural events. So like the work you do right now, what about going to those kind of events and teach them, or even have like 5 or 10 minutes after the event and talk about the benefits on how they can come together and work as business-wise and be interested on political arena, so something like that.
Well, I'll give an example. A few weeks ago, I went to BAM for Memorial Weekend, Dance Africa, out in Brooklyn. And I think what happens is, I'll give an example. Jehovah's Witnesses was out there. And Jehovah's Witnesses, they hadn't been out there ever. They didn't know about this experience.
Yeah.
And they always preaching about paradise and what perfection looks like. So they use their ministry to say, well, wow, look at how beautiful Dance Africa is. What if we lived in a society that was like this all the time, every day? So that's an example of how you can cover something, be at an event, and in your conversations with others, or like how I do a commentary, express not just the love and the good time of being together, but what it would look like when we're all actively involved in making this beautiful.
Okay, so Ms. Catherine Warren, you see how the time is going very fast.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we are almost at the end of our show, and I'm waiting for your last word. Or even something that I didn't ask you that you want to share with our viewer.
Africa is awesome.
Okay. Like also Africa.
Africa is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm going back.
Okay.
But I think I just want you guys to follow me online. Miss Kitty Rose 1 on all social media networks. Come and support me and come see my show. Check out all the things I'm doing in Harlem. Watch the next chapter Saturdays at BronxNet at 11 o'clock. You know, just follow me, man, because I am you. So what I'm going through is what all of you are going through. I'm just more colorful about it.
Okay, I really like your energy and the work you do for the community. Thank you so much. Don't give up. I always tell you, Miss Katrina, don't give up. What you are doing, people are benefiting. Okay, so thank you so much for coming.
Because I need that. Don't get it wrong. We need encouragement. So thank you for that.
No problem. Okay, unfortunately, we have reached the conclusion of today's show. We would like to thank our guest, Miss Katrina Warren, a.k.a. Kitty Rose, for stopping by, and of course, you, our viewers, for tuning in. Thank you, and see you next time.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water, and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water, and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's alive. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
It's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/read.
Que si tu veux avoir quelque chose que tout le monde n'a pas, faut faire quelque chose que tout le monde ne fait pas.
The more when you met the can of Borona, so when get more, the more when you bang me Zimona, Sinja Monga Bembelido, Papa Sinja Maza, Manaka de King, Papa Sinja Maza.